Shalom and welcome to our very first live stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in to this video. If you're watching it afterwards, if you're here live, hello. Say hello in the comments. Let us know also if it sounds good, if I need to turn the mic up. I can't really monitor it. So
yeah,
there's that. So we thought we would do a live stream, our very first live stream, because we've been in New York now for a year.
Over a year, yeah.
So just talk about it, take questions. Hello from London, from Annabelle. It's like 1:30 in the morning there. You need to go to sleep. Hello from Poland. Is that even later?
You look like Max. Kansas. We're neighbors.
Yes. Ivor. Hopefully I said your name right. It's the way I always said it in my head. Rosie, hello.
I've never done the live video before. This is so exciting.
Our friend Kelsey.
Oh, hi, Kelsey.
Yes, we're potential relation. Maybe somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
So what do you guys want to talk about?
Todd, Belgium. Belgium. We should go to Belgium.
How's the let's see. Does that sound better? Okay.
So we've been in New York for a little over a year.
Yes.
Oh, you're nice. Ivor.
Ivor. Is that Monique? Yes.
It's Ivor.
Ivor. Yeah. Okay. There we go.
But you weren't the worst, so it's fine.
Nice. It's good. I guess talking to all of you guys.
Yeah.
In a I guess present form.
Yeah.
What were your aims before moving to New York City? Specifically for like moving to New York City, our aims for being here
is just for fun.
For fun,
really.
Yeah.
I've wanted to move here since I was like 14, and it was just like good timing to pack up our entire life and go somewhere. So
yeah,
that's why we came here.
Yeah. It was Sarah's been, I mean, pretty much our whole life has been talking about New York ever since we've known her, as we were like preteens and teenagers, like wanting to at least go to New York. But it soon turned into like, I'm going to live in New York at some point in my life.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I always said like, oh, I'm going to experience every season in New York.
Yeah.
So.
And then we have now.
Yeah.
It is
back around to summer.
Yes.
I prefer summer to winter.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that was kind of like the whole point was just to, just move here for fun.
Experience something new.
Kelsey asked, how long do you guys plan to stay in the city? I think right now we're saying like 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Everything can change, obviously. it could be that, we're live here for much longer. If something was to come up, we just re-signed our year lease. So we're definitely
here for a year.
Here for a year, or we are have somehow struck it rich and we can break that lease.
Yeah.
But as of right now, yeah, definitely going to be in New York for another year minimum, and probably another couple years after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Todd asked, how do you find your daily motivation to vlog daily? Well, here's the trick. We don't vlog daily.
Yeah. Yeah. Like vlogging, posting videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday means that we at most only have to film 3 days a week. And so obviously there's 4 other days.
Yeah.
But with, a video is only 10 minutes. So it doesn't take that long most of the time.
Yeah.
To film a 10-minute video. So there are some weeks that we actually film 2 videos in one day. So it'll be, like like a Saturday is a good example. So, a Saturday we could get up in the morning, we could go do something, make, like Governor's Island, when we did Governor's Island, we, go out there and we're there for a few hours and, make a whole vlog about that. And then like, maybe mid-afternoon we eat lunch and then go out and do something else. And so it's not in that way. We actually only filmed 2 days and we got all 3 videos.
Yeah. And it just also definitely depends on what type of video we're filming. So if it's a vlog, those usually take longer. But if it's like a certain topic that we're focusing on, you can usually do those a lot quicker.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it just depends.
Yeah. And you can hear New York City outside. That is
wonderful New York.
Yes. Juan asks, has the city been amused to you in any way? So
how has it been amused?
Yeah.
Where is this question? Oh, there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like, I would just say that New York City has definitely been a character
for sure
in our vlog. So like New York City typically is always like a third character in our videos. And it's like what it drives kind of the story. So like it's a supporting character, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's always inspiring to get out and like see the city. I mean,
the coolest thing about New York is all of the everyday mundane things that happen here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not necessarily the like big grand New York that you think of. It's like the people and like the habits and the things that go on a day-to-day basis that is really, I think, the most interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
Yeah.
To hear the question, I guess. Shout out to Adam for hitting the super chat for 10 whatever currency that is. And he says, thanks for posting your authentic and real videos. Thank you so much for watching and being here and helping us, just being a part of whatever we're doing, this thing.
What do we call it?
Yeah. And thanks for the donation. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Robert, is there anything you would have done differently planning wise for the big move? I don't think so. I mean, maybe we were a little disillusioned on the apartment process here, like getting an apartment. But I don't know that that's something we could really have like planned differently. I mean, we weren't going to get an apartment before we moved. So
right. Yeah, I mean, the plan differently, it would be more so, it would have been easier when we got here if we would have been educated on the apartment process before.
Yeah.
Because it's so crazy different here.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
I mean, we thought, well, we've owned 3 homes. How can you not get an apartment? Like,
Yeah.
So I think, having been educated on that would have been better. But I mean, everything else, we're kind of planners. I mean, we kind of knew what we were doing.
Yeah. Let's see, where was that? Oh, Adam says that the currency, whenever it's translated, is Polish gold in translation. So
Polish gold.
We are now proud owners of 10 Polish gold.
Kelsey wants to know how long it takes to edit one day's vlog. That's you.
Yeah, I mean, it fluctuates. I would say on average 5 hours is a good number.
Yeah.
But some of them can be a lot faster if it was like very straightforward. Like that we went out and, did specifically like a topic video or something.
Like the finance one that we did.
Yeah. Or even like the last video we posted on Wednesday with talking about when we played basketball and stuff like that. Like that edit probably took I would say 3.5-ish hours or so.
Yeah.
But then there are other videos that I can't pull one. I can't think of one like off the top of my head, but there are definitely other videos that take significantly longer. And then, something like the Zimbabwe documentary that came out 2 weeks ago. That was a
huge edit.
I mean, it probably took me a full working week, like to edit that one. So, and if you have not seen that video, please go watch the Zimbabwe documentary on the channel.
Plug a few things.
I'm very proud of that video, and I would really love for you to check it out. Yeah. Do you, Adam asked, do you sometimes miss living in a smaller city?
I don't think so. I've been thinking about this actually kind of a lot because I never thought I would miss driving in a car. That was like my whole life's goal was to live where we don't own a car. But a couple weeks ago, I was actually like missing like just turning up my music really loud and going for a drive, which obviously you can't get really in New York, even if you do own a car. There are aspects of a smaller city that are really great. But I think for the most part, no. Yeah.
I mean, I want to say that I miss living in a smaller city. I miss living in a cheaper city. So there's that.
Yeah.
But I would say the same thing of just in my previous life.
Yeah.
There was actually, I went to an event in somewhere in New Jersey. I can't remember where it was. And I was being driven back, and we were like, I was sitting in the back seat, and we were driving, and it was like regular roads with like overpasses, and like it was like highway, and like I was just sitting with like my head up against the window, just like looking, and I felt like so nostalgic for like those times of my life of just like riding in the car with friends and like, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so that definitely isn't like missing a smaller city. It's more so just like missing my friends and like the things that we used to do together. Cause obviously we have like a completely different life now. And we haven't really developed that close knit community here yet. You know, we're working on it, and we're like, you know, but as far as like what we had in Tulsa, I mean, we had deep connections and friends who, you know, didn't even have to ask if they were coming over. They just like showed up, you know, didn't even have to knock necessarily. You know, just walk in and like we're hanging out, and we don't have to do anything, you know, so that type of stuff. But
yeah, there's a really great vibe to like a smaller city. I would say more like the homey community vibe of a smaller city I miss. But as far as the actual like smaller city, no, not really.
Yeah. Walter asks, how much lead time should one consider between planning a move to New York City? Can anything be done before the move? And did you have to go to an extended stay hotel? Also, awesome videos, great editing. Thank you very much. As far as how much lead time, I mean, we
were preparing meaning like we knew we were going to move for like a year, but we didn't start actually doing anything until I think like 2 months before we moved. And I mean, if you give yourself a deadline, things will just happen. You'll get it done or you won't. That's all that, you know, and it is what it is. I think like, obviously, depending on where you're moving, there for sure can be things done before you move, especially, I mean, people even here, like they rent apartments and get things settled before they come. We didn't want to do that because we wanted to explore the neighborhoods and know like the neighborhood that the neighborhood felt good. And like something where we would, because we knew like, well, we're going to be there for at least a year. We want to enjoy where we're living. So yes, we stayed in hotel. We lived in hotels for 2 weeks.
Yeah. It wasn't extended stay. We just did like a Hotwire on the app. And so just whatever was the cheapest that we could get that night is where we did. And there was only a few times where we did like more than one night.
Yeah. We probably lived in like 7 or 8 hotels in 2 weeks.
So that was very expensive. To do. It was like,
I don't recommend it.
Yeah. It was like a month, a New York City month's rent for those 2 weeks, like living in hotels. So it was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that could be done is there are like websites and Facebook groups and things for roommates and, or like,
sublets
and also just like open rooms for a month and things like that. So you could look into those. Like one of the big ones I know is called Gypsy Housing on Facebook. And if you like get a part of those groups, if you're moving here, you could look at those groups and find like, I want to move this month and find a room that's open for like a whole month.
Yeah.
Then you could stay there and then have time to like shop around for the apartment they actually want.
That would have been nice to know about. Yeah. Adam says, expanding on what you said about connections, despite how huge New York is, do you sometimes feel kind of lonely? I mean, it's a little different because I have you. Mm-hmm. So, but if I came here like on my own, like I can very much see how you would be lonely.
Yeah.
It is a massive city, but everyone is here for a very particular reason. And usually that reason is work. So, it is busy, it is crazy, and it's kind of hard to get connected and get together with people. Mm-hmm. Even if both sides have like the best of intentions, life is wild here. So
yeah, it reminds me of who was the guy, the comedian we were talking about the other day with Dylan. John
Mulaney.
Oh yeah. And John Mulaney's stand-up. This is very apropos for this moment.
Yeah.
He was just talking about how essentially was saying like friendships as an adult. You're like texting each other, calling each other, hey, do you want to get coffee? And like, yeah, and then like you miss it, and you're like, hey, let's reschedule. And then 8 months go by, and it didn't matter at all.
Yeah, that's how it is here.
Yeah. Yeah. So like you have to be very, very intentional.
Yes.
With like relationships here for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be intentional everywhere, but
yeah.
I feel like in a larger city like this, you have to like be very intentional.
Yeah.
And
about favorite things to do in New York. My family and I are taking a trip in October. Ooh. I love Washington Square Park. Honestly, it's so chill, and there's always performers out, which is super fun.
Yeah, I mean, we really just like getting out and walking the city.
Yeah.
Like, and also we do love like the things we can do in New York, like just going out and like doing stuff, which we can get back to like some specifics for you and your trip. But also I feel like we also just enjoy living regular life here. Just like getting up in the morning and just walking down the beautiful to us streets of New York.
They're a little dirty.
Just like going to, Starbucks and sitting there and like just living regular life here is why we love New York, because we don't have to have a car, and we don't have to like, it's just all the other things that come with living in a smaller city where you don't have public transportation, where everything's so spread out. Just living in a compact city where we can just like walk or ride skateboards or whatever to wherever we want to go and just live our regular life. That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
But as far as favorite things in New York, I really like the like downtown area. So South Street Seaport, I really love that area.
So good.
I would recommend, as long as you're okay with walking. We love walking cities, so the way we vacation is like walking. If you were to start like in Lower Manhattan, South Street Seaport area, walk through there, walk over to the Pier 17, I think. Don't quote me on that, but the pier that's very close to South Street Seaport. You just walk along the river, walk south all the way around Battery Park. And then if you keep walking, you'll go into Battery Park City, and you can see One World Trade. You can see the 9/11 Memorial. And then you can just keep walking up that direction and see what you want. I feel like that is really, really, really nice. You can also then like cut across, go to Wall Street or whatever, and then catch a train like up somewhere else that you want to go.
Yeah, that's a great area.
But I really love like that whole area.
Mandy, Sarah, your skin always looks so flawless and glowing. What's your secret? I don't have one. I'm the worst at girl stuff. So I just don't wear makeup, which I actually feel like helps your skin. But I don't know if that's true. That's just a personal assumption. And I just use a Vino face wash that I bought from Target. I don't know. Oh, our funniest moments in New York so far. Oh, one night in Soho, it was like Friday, and we were walking to get dinner, and I just like glanced over, and there is a guy like being pinned against the wall by 2 police officers, and his pants are around his ankles, just fully exposed.
Yes. Yeah. You completely could see his penis. And
that was shocking.
It was like we were like walking down the sidewalk, and he's just there with his penis out.
Yeah.
And we like went into this pizza place to get food, and it like, you know, we were gonna go take it from the pizza place and go across the street to the park and eat it. And so it only took, you know, it was like 10 minutes probably to get the pizza. Well, we walk out and we walk back by, and he's still there, and the cops had not pulled his pants up. And then we went over to the park where, I mean, you could see like them over there. Yeah. And we ate, and I don't think we ever saw them pull the pants up.
I think neither of them wanted to mess with it. That's maybe the craziest.
Funniest, yeah. Nothing is coming. Yeah, nothing's like coming to me as far as like really like funny stories. Yeah. If I think of something, I'll bring it up. But Jonathan, shout out Jonathan. He's like, you go way back, like OG fan. Does your church have small group or ministries you can plug into? Yes. So there are. We go to C3 Brooklyn, but we go to the downtown Manhattan campus. But C3, they have these things called dinner parties. Dinner parties are essentially, it's their small group system.
Just eat dinner together.
Yeah. So we do that every Wednesday. Yep. Just like getting together, eating a meal, talking about that week's like message and service. So, yeah.
Have you guys ever seen a musical, Broadway or not, in New York? As a big theater fan, I'm very curious to hear about the experience. We've seen the Newsies.
Yep.
When we visited here in 2014, and I freaking loved it. It was one of those, we didn't have a lot of money at the time when we came here, so we picked like a half off one. So I had zero expectations, and it was incredible.
Mm-hmm. The Newsies was like so good.
It was incredible.
It's not on Broadway anymore, but that one, it really surprised. Like we left that being like, wow, that was really, really good. We recently saw
Puffs.
No, the actual Broadway one we saw with Dan and Virginia.
Oh, Willy Wonka.
Yes.
That was so cool.
So Willy Wonka on Broadway.
It was really cool to see the sets of like the Candy Factory played out on stage. It was really cool. Mm-hmm. Also, we're going to see Cursed Child in October. So
yes, we bought our tickets.
You will definitely hear about that.
We bought our Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. We bought those the day that they launched in September, and we were not able to get tickets until this October.
Yeah,
it was wild. A year later that we are going to see it.
Yeah.
But I would say the most fun show we have seen is called Puffs, and it's an off-Broadway play, and it's a Harry Potter play, a unauthorized Harry Potter play, but it is a truncated story of Harry Potter told from the Hufflepuff perspective.
Yeah, so it's the 7 years in Hogwarts, but it's all from Hufflepuff. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Yeah. It was so good.
It was so funny. So if you are Harry Potter nerds and you want a Broadway type experience that's a little more affordable because it's off Broadway, I definitely recommend seeing Puffs.
Kelsey wants to know if we ever feel unsafe in the city, like taking the subway, walking back to your apartment after dark, etc. Never. Not one time have I ever like looked behind my shoulder because I felt like not one time has it been shady.
Yeah. I mean, I would say yes when we first moved here, but then you learn that, I mean, I think it was partly coming from a place in the middle of America, where you don't see a large like variety of people in the world, and so your perception of what is danger is so limited. And then moving to New York City and then walking the streets and realizing that there is such a huge variety of looking people that they're just people. And I mean, like is, I mean, a lot of homeless people here, and specifically in the area where we live, we walk through groups of homeless guys like every day.
Yeah.
And I never feel like unsafe.
I think the thing is that people don't, I guess, really understand. Like, I felt more unsafe like walking in Tulsa because not because Tulsa is dangerous, but because nobody is around. So like if something were to happen, nobody would see it. That's not the case in New York. Literally, the streets are full every hour of the day. So, I mean, even if something were to happen to you, somebody sees it. So it makes you feel a little better.
Yeah.
Adam says, when you were younger, did you imagine you would be together living in New York and being creative?
I definitely did not imagine that I would be living in New York.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely knew I was going to be doing creative stuff. I stumbled upon creativity and video making and stuff like that whenever I was in 7th or 8th grade. And so that's something I've been pursuing for a really long time. I knew I was going to marry Sarah whenever I was 13, 14, something like that. I felt like God told me that, you know, I was going to marry Sarah. And so like that, those two things, being together and being creative, definitely knew. I definitely wouldn't have said I was going to live in New York City. And even even years into our marriage, I didn't think we would live in New York City, and Sarah was losing hope that we were going to either.
Yeah. I only knew that I would live in New York. What are the best places to meet new people? I don't feel like we're good people to ask that. I mean,
I think, well, it just depends on, obviously, like your worldview or like religious views or whatever, but like church is such a good place to meet people. Like it's because it's a dedicated community that, you know, can come from all walks of life, but come together under one unifying thing of Jesus, and you being able to connect with somebody on that level, and then just share life and do things together. And you're both showing up to the same place at the same time once a week. And then maybe even twice a week if you do like a small group, and you can, you know, build that relationship. I think that's the biggest thing is like, I guess if I was to take that advice and apply it to, you know, not, you know, not going to church, is like just the fact of going to the same place at the same time, all, you know, and finding who else is doing that and then striking up conversations with them and building that relationship.
I also think like, especially in bigger cities, there's always events happening and whatever. So like continually going to like a creative networking events or something like that is really helpful, because usually the same people go to all of those all the time. But yeah, just being consistent in wherever you show up. I feel like you'll find somebody.
Yeah. Ivor also asks, you have a nice cinema setup at home. Do you mostly watch movies, TV shows, or other YouTubers? Definitely a mix of those. But I would say we watch movies like the most.
Movies, TV shows. Oh yeah, definitely movies. I mean, that's why we have the setup, is for movies.
Yeah.
But I also like a little bit of The Office every once in a while.
Yeah.
I kind of get into, I guess, binge watching sometimes, but I try really hard not to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Todd says no address sharing, no problem. Can you show your journal as it is highlights or things that you're planning for your upcoming book? Here's the thing. I don't have like a journal of my upcoming book. It's just in my head. I don't really know what I'm doing with it yet. So
yeah. And she would not even let me peek in the journal, let alone any of you guys. So sorry.
I'm very protective of my words until I feel like they're as good as I can get them.
Punk Rock Tuba says, I'm from Oklahoma City and need you guys to keep telling people how great ranch is on pizza. Well, we can just talk about how great ranch is in period.
Actually, we were at the grocery store the other day and he found vegan ranch and was so excited about it.
I was like, I mean, I'm not opposed to just regular ranch, but I mean, if I can eat ranch and not have, you know, dairy and everything else in it too, it's like, Sign me up. But if you're in the store, Hidden Valley Ranch, if you're in Oklahoma and you can get yourself to a Mazio's, you can just go in there and just get some cups of ranch and leave, and go eat that with something else. But you can eat their pizza as well. Dip that in the ranch.
I, however, am not a fan of ranch, nor am I a fan of ranch on pizza. So,
how do you afford to live in New York City? We don't.
Yeah.
We haven't afforded it yet. We've been together for 10 years, and we lived in one of the cheapest places to live in the country.
Yeah.
And we have owned homes in real estate. And when we moved here, we sold absolutely everything, which gave us a fat bank account. And we've been living off of that.
That's not to say we don't do other things to compensate.
We are supplementing income, and we are like, that's the whole thing. Like, that's the whole, everything we're doing. We are working towards, stop draining savings. So we are self-funded YouTubers right now. We're like self-funding our dream. And we just have been fortunate enough, and we're lucky enough and blessed enough that is what we're able to do.
Yeah.
We are now at the point where we have to do anything and everything that we can to live out this dream, or we're going to, have to get jobs and, live normal life, if this is going to work. So,
but what we do to supplement, I do like some temp jobs just here and there, like working with other offices and companies, just on like short-term projects. And then Cody freelances a bunch of video and photography and design and whatnot.
Yeah. So, we do that. And then obviously also like YouTube is a job. It doesn't, with the subscriber base we have now, it is not, it doesn't pay like,
it's not like full-time income.
Not even a part-time income. And so, there's like that supplements some. And then obviously there are affiliate links in the description of all of our videos. And then sometimes we talk about certain things that have affiliate links. When people purchase things on Amazon through those and through other services, through those links, we make money off that. So that's another, partial money that comes in. And then getting sponsors for the podcast gets us income. Selling merch gets, income, which you can do by going to shop.codyjensen.com. Just launched some new merch. So like sales of that is like, so basically it's like diversifying into all these different revenue stream, so that, basically trying to create a full-time living for us through what we're trying to create through YouTube.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Chris said, Adam says, does a city like New York have a vibe of constant competitiveness and a kind of rat race? I mean, I guess you could call it a rat race. There are definitely there is that vibe of like growing and climbing the ladder and, whatever, but I don't really feel competitive so much as collaborative here. Maybe it's just like the circle of people that we've become involved in. And maybe it's like the YouTube community specifically is very collaborative. But I've noticed more people willing to help you out than not.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked to quite a few people in New York City that say like New York City is way more of a collaborative city than a place like LA, where it is like a rat race. And in LA, it feels like, I've never been to LA, so this is coming from my talking to people who have had these two experiences.
Right.
They will say that being in LA feels like everybody is out for themselves. Everybody's trying to get ahead of everybody else. And, is willing to push aside anybody that's in the way.
Yeah.
Versus New York, I think there is, there can be some of that. But I feel like ultimately, the community that we've found in our experience and the experience of those that we've talked to, it is way more collaborative. People are way more willing to be a part of what you're doing and let you be a part of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And we can all, a rising tide raises all boats type situation versus everybody's all out for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your mom wants to know if you ever miss your parents.
Never. Yes. Since you were here watching. I'm just kidding. I miss you guys. My mom's in the comments, guys. She got her merch. So say what's up to my mom.
Todd wants to know if you have a Patreon link, affiliate links. I'll look for that.
So we do not have a Patreon, but there is a way to donate on the Deeply Curious page. If you go to podcast.codyjensen.com, just right at the top, there's the links and there's a little $sign. You can do that. Also, clicking any link like in the description of our videos is an affiliate link to Amazon, which any of those purchases that you make, like we get a small like cutback from that. And then, I mean, obviously buying things from our sponsors and stuff like that. But as far as like a direct like Patreon type donation on the podcast page, and then also like on YouTube, like what we're on right now in the live stream, you can actually give by clicking the $sign next to the happy face through a super chat.
Jack wants to know how you dealt with the extreme space decrease from moving to New York. Yeah, so the home we owned before we moved was 1,400 square feet, and we moved to 300 square feet, which is quite a bit different. But I actually have not had an issue like at all. Like it hasn't felt too small. It hasn't felt crammed. I think it's because we designed the space very specifically, though. So it hasn't been a problem for me, really, except for the books.
Yeah, it was really difficult to figure out the book situation, but I thought it was a really fun challenge going from a 4-bedroom home to a no-bedroom home.
Yeah.
And so that downsizing, also just the mere fact that we sold everything and had a fresh start, that made it super easy because it wasn't like packing up a truck and being like, okay, now we have to figure out how to fit this stuff in different places. It was more so we came with like our mattress. And so it was like, you know, we whatever space we get, then we can design, you know, the furniture and everything around that, you know, space.
Which really helped.
Yeah, it was, it was good. And we really love it. Like living in the small space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Adam wants to know if we could change one thing about New York besides cost of living, what would it be?
Noise pollution.
Oh, noise is a good one. I was going to say before we moved here, I didn't think New York was a dirty city because I had this like romanticized view of New York, but it actually is kind of dirty.
Mm-hmm.
And I would appreciate it if there were less trash on the streets all the time.
Yeah.
But I'd take it back. I'd rather it be less noisy.
Yeah. Shout out to Walter for the $9.99. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
So the noise pollution is probably what drives me the most crazy.
It's insane.
Just all of the honking, the sirens. Like some days it gets to me more than other days, and some days it I would say it even makes me anxious. Like, like walking down the street, like we're just like trying to talk to each other and have a conversation, and like just keeps getting interrupted by honking and sirens and everything else. And I just like, I get so, not every day, but there are just some days I just get flustered and I'm like, I can't do this. Like, and so we just don't talk for a bit and just like walk until it's finally silent. Cause it's like, and then other days, like it doesn't bother me. Like I want to say it doesn't bother me at all, but some days I just ignore it and I'm like, whatever. But
yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like the other day we went to Roosevelt Island to work because it's so quiet there. Like you could actually hear birds chirping. It was really nice. Yeah. So there are pockets of the city that you can escape it sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Christina says a lot of daily vloggers seem to burn out after a while. Where do you see your filming going in order to not get to that point? Thanks for sharing your point of view. So I would say a part of it is I don't think there is a way to daily vlog healthily in health. I don't think there's a way you can do that and not burn out. But we mentioned earlier, if you weren't here, that you know we're not daily. We're Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And also because that's 3 videos a week, and because videos are only 10 minutes long, you know, around there, we can actually batch film, and so we can film 2 videos in one day. We don't do that all the time, but we can do that, and so it's only filming 1.5 days or 3 half days or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that model, the model of 3 days or every other day type thing, is way more sustainable than daily. Obviously, because there's barely any daily vloggers anymore, and all the ones that were huge daily vloggers all put out, after a year or 2, they came out with videos saying like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Because you just can't, like, you
It's not
can't
sustainable.
sleep like everything else. But I mean, we live very balanced lives. I mean, we work like normal kind of schedules. It's like,
I very much appreciate like downtime, so I try to keep that as priority as possible. So I think just scheduling your time is really important and not overdoing it, and daily vlogging is just overdoing it. Adam, who's some of your favorite creators? Video, photo, text, anything?
So I mean, creators like YouTubers, we watch like a lot of like OG like YouTubers.
I really like the OG YouTubers.
So meaning like we watch Good Mythical Morning every day with Rhett and Link.
Freaking love them.
So that's like one of our favorites.
They're the most inspirational people. If you guys don't know who they are, you should totally watch their show. It's just like an entertaining morning show, but they're just so inspirational. They're doing amazing things.
Yeah. And then we watch the Vlog Brothers, which
John
is John and Hank Green.
Philip DeFranco.
Love him. So just his daily news show is really good.
Other than that,
and then we watch like all of the New York City creators. So Sarah Dietschy, John Hill, Brett Conti, like Sam Shepard, all those guys and girls. Yoon Olsen. Yeah, that was the one I was trying to think of. So like besides those, so Yoon Olsen is a every other day vlogger, was daily before.
Yeah.
Like he's like one that we regularly watch.
My favorite YouTuber who actually he's only posted a couple of series. He doesn't post regularly. His name is Adrian Bliss. If you don't know him, you need to binge watch all of his content right now. He's amazing, but he just does series. So he's not on consistently.
Phantom Flight said, what's the morning show? You missed it. It's Good Mythical Morning. So if you just search like Good Mythical Morning, it'll come up.
Yeah.
Adrian is top shelf. Absolutely.
Yes, he is.
Does the Jensen parents watch all of your videos? Does that make the distance in miles feel less than it would otherwise, because you do get to hang out with your kids every week? So that's a question for you, Mom. You can answer in the comments. But yes, they have told us in person about the noise pollution outside. But they have told us in person, like I've talked to my dad on the phone, and we'll be like, asking, what's up or whatever. And it's like, he's like, well, I mean, you've seen it all. The fun things we've done, like have been in the videos, and like
pretty much anything interesting we do, we take the camera with us. So
so like they have told us like they definitely feel like they actually get to hang out with us and see it. Honestly, though, they now, because of YouTube and vlogging, our parents, they see us more now than they did whenever we were only a couple hours away in Tulsa.
Because we didn't vlog.
Because we didn't vlog there. So, yeah.
How do you all like the couch after living with it? I've been thinking about getting one for my place. I like the big chaise lounge. Get the couch.
Yeah.
It is maybe my favorite couch that we've had. I do miss a sectional. We used to have a sectional, and I really loved that. But this is a fantastic couch. Yeah,
I mean, it's. I would say like it's definitely not like a sink-in couch of
Thank you, Todd.
Thanks, Todd, for the $20 tip. Really appreciate it. So it's not like one of those couches where you sit down and you're like. And like sink in, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is like the most comfortable couch I've ever sat in. Is not like that, but it is a comfortable couch, and it has a lot of storage, which is great for us in the space. And the pull-out bed has, I mean, we've had like 15 people come and stay with us and sleep on it. So,
and they've all liked it.
Yeah.
And I love that you can pull it out and use it as a movie lounger. So like multiple people can lounge on it, which is also great.
Yeah, so I would recommend it.
What's the story behind blue glasses? There really isn't one, actually.
No,
there's a really great eyewear store in Tulsa called Black Optical. They're actually in a couple of cities. You should totally look them up. And he had a sale going on, and those were on sale, so we bought them.
Yeah. So I mean, I really like eyewear, and I like expressing myself specifically through eyewear because I'm blind, so I have to wear them. So I might as well like make the most of it. So obviously you can probably notice that I don't wear anything other than black t-shirts, and black jeans, black shorts.
Yes.
And so I keep my wardrobe very minimal, but I like to like show personality and spice it up through my glasses. And the reason I wear blue, this is like nitty gritty. The reason I wear blue every day is because my prescription has changed, and these are the only ones that have my current prescription. Even though I have like 4 other really amazing frames, they all have my old prescription that give me a headache, and
it's so expensive to get new lenses.
And my lenses, because I'm so blind, cost like $550 to get the updated prescription.
It's an investment.
So, yes, it is an investment.
I want to make sure and do this one because she wants to know if, now that I'm not doing my book club anymore, if I'm reading just as much, and she wants to have some recommendations. So I would say I am reading just as much, but I have been in a reading slump. So that kind of sucks. But as far as like reading recommendations, and somebody else asked, what's a good fiction book to start with? And Cody will agree with this. Favorite fiction book of all time is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. You have to read it. It's whimsical and magical and really just so cool and so fun.
Yeah.
So if you haven't read that, I would suggest that.
And every person I have ever recommended The Night Circus to, it has become their favorite book.
Yes. Yeah. It's amazing. Other than that, for summer reads, I would suggest How to Build a Girl by Caitlin Moran, if you have not read that. And she actually just came out with a sequel to that called How to Be Famous, which I just finished, and it's amazing. So yeah.
Yeah.
Those are some.
Jack asked, are John Hill and Sarah Dietschy as energetic all the time as they are in their videos? Yeah.
They're just like their videos.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
John is definitely who he is in his videos. I mean, you're obviously only seeing like 10 minutes of that day. So it's very energetic.
Yeah.
But he's like, he
just as funny.
He's just as funny and just as energetic in like real life, as well. I mean, but at the same time can be very chill, just hanging out and like not obnoxious, like, you know, and also a very deep thinker too, like very like can have very deep conversations. It's,
they're amazing people.
Yeah.
What led you to start a YouTube channel?
I mean, pretty easy answer on that. I mean, just because we started making like home movies when we first got married, which were essentially vlogs. I had a mini DV cam that I would just take with us everywhere, and I would film our stuff, and then we'd make little, like, we never post them anywhere, just like make little movies for ourselves. Through the digital revolution, we stopped doing that because digital video cameras were terrible, but digital photo cameras were pretty good. So we started taking thousands of photos a year, but not doing much video. And then when we started like picking video back up, 2 years ago-ish, just because we really loved like having those old home movies. And so we started filming ourselves again, started doing this new thing that had now become vlogging. And we just like kept going. Just
hanging out with friends and filming it.
Yeah, we were just like hanging out with each other, hanging out with friends, filming it, editing this video together for us. We had basically no subscribers on YouTube. We were just posting them to show our friends, and it was like 300. We had 300 subscribers when we moved to New York. We had 300 subscribers. We had 300 subscribers up until a few months of being in New York.
Yeah, but I think like in November is when it kind of picked up.
And we posted our apartment tour in November, and because that went viral, people saw our channel, like people had come to it and then saw the backlog of content and subscribe from there. And then we just kept going. So we didn't have any actual plans of moving to New York and becoming YouTubers. We just moved to New York and we're making videos, and then it became a viable option for us to create this dream.
how long have you guys been vegetarian? Did you both make the decision at the same time? We've been vegetarian for 4 years almost.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes, we made the decision at the same time because so one of our best friend is vegetarian, and he was trying to convince us to go vegetarian, and we're like, nah, whatever. But I knew that I needed to make some sort of change in my diet, and I knew that it was like all or nothing kind of. And we watched this documentary called Forks Over Knives, and after we watched that documentary, we just literally, this is what happened. I was like, I guess we're vegetarian now.
Yeah.
And Cody was like, yep, we are. So if you don't want to stop eating meat, don't watch that documentary.
Yeah.
It's amazing. What type of wedding ring do you have?
It's tungsten.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's the one that if it gets mashed, it'll break off instead of cutting off your finger.
Yeah.
Oh, do you guys have a mantra? I wouldn't say we have one that we've like definitively decided on.
Yeah, I mean, other than something that we have been saying recently, and we printed on a shirt, is to love harder. So to work hard but love harder.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that has been our philosophy for a long time. But then we just recently like succinctly set it into a mantra, I guess, of work hard but love harder.
Yeah.
And so and then I just put love harder on a shirt. So
yeah. I think that's it. Sarah mentioned you value rest. What are the ways you guys wind down and chill out? I like to read. I also really love going and sitting at a coffee shop and just watching people, which I guess maybe sounds a little creepy, but it's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
And we go to the movies. Movie Pass. If you guys have not gotten Movie Pass, this is not sponsored. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. You should get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think we do anything else.
Yeah, I mean, we just like it's the same thing as everybody else. Like,
yeah, just chill.
Just sit and, I mean, watch stuff.
I do like going. One of the things that I really love about New York is that it's so close to the water. So I do like going to the rivers and just like hanging out by the water because the water is so relaxing.
Yeah.
Plans for a new tattoo. Do you have plans?
Yes. I know that. So there are tattoos that we both want. But because we're in a season of non-frivolous spending, we are not getting tattoos anytime soon. But I know that I believe I want my next one to be like an American traditional tattoo. That would be the profile image of a Native American like Indian like woman girl with either a full headdress or just like a braid and a feather. But I want it to be the face to be sort of in the likeness of Sarah. It's just like it's American traditional, so it's not like a portrait in any way. You wouldn't really be able to tell, but if it can capture like Sarah's like essence, I guess. But the reason I want to get that is not because Sarah is Native American, but just a Oklahoma tattoo. So just because we've born and raised in Oklahoma, lived our first 28 years there, just like something that's not just the state outline. And if you are not familiar with the United States and not familiar with Oklahoma is a very large Native American population and a lot of Native American land because that is where our ancestors drove them to. So there is a lot of Native American heritage there. A lot of the museums are filled with Native American art, and it's like such a big thing there.
Yeah, it's huge. I have plans for tattoos, but I only know one of them, like for sure, is Indian wildflowers in like a bouquet for my grandma, because that was like, it's a whole story. We don't have time for it. Anyway, that's what I'm going to get. Have you seen Ant-Man? No, not yet. But I really want to. I love Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
This is a good question. What would you like to see Apple create next?
I mean, I don't know. I think that I would like to see Apple remove the camera bump from the next phone.
You do have a problem with that.
And also, I would like to see, them I don't know, like either partner with Adobe or basically I would like to see Apple significantly increase the speed capabilities of their notebook line. And because it seems as though since 2016 with the new MacBook Pros, there's been a lot of issues, and with a machine that costs that much money, it should be faster than a cheaper PC. So there's that. And then also I think, I would say not Apple not coming out with next, but Apple just improving a lot of things. Like Siri is so behind Google Assistant and so behind Amazon Alexa. And so it's like seeing, like the HomePod become like an actual like voice assistant and not just a really good speaker. Would be
but
awesome.
let's just talk. The speaker on the HomePod is amazing.
Yes, it is.
Just FYI.
Yeah.
Here's one that's like kind of in line with that. Would you ever think about an Android product, Samsung Galaxy maybe?
I would love to use one. So I would love to try one out. But the thing is I would never actually purchase one to use because I am so in the Apple ecosystem. And the reason that I stay with Apple products is not because like I think that they have the absolute best, this or that. It's because they have the absolute best ecosystem, and having an iPhone, having a Mac, having an Apple TV, everything just works so seamlessly together that, just the iMessages and AirDrop and just AirPlay, everything that comes with owning the Apple ecosystem is absolutely amazing. And you can't get that with any other ecosystem. And so, but I would love, like if I got to the point, of being a YouTuber where people just sent me stuff, if Samsung sent me a phone, I would absolutely like love to try it out, see what I liked and didn't like about it. But I'm not going to spend that money, because if I'm going to spend money on a new phone, I'm going to get the new iPhone. So
also I think user experience, for me personally, user experience is really important. And I feel like Apple does the best at user experience. So
this, was it? I can't remember who asked the funniest moment in New York. But Steven just asked, whatever came of the interior design project with the guy you made a video about a while back. So this is a funny story and answers that question. So if you guys didn't see that video, there was because of our apartment tour, a guy contacted me on Facebook and said that he had an apartment in Upper Manhattan, and said like, I would love for you to come check it out and design, apartment for me. I will pay you to design this apartment. And I went up there. He was a weirdo. Like not super weird, but he was a weirdo.
Just quirky.
Yeah, very quirky. Like he spent, instead of talking about the apartment like a lot, he saw, like Sarah said that she was a writer, like in the video, I guess, or something. Like he picked up that Sarah was a writer at some point. And so like most of the time I was there, he was showing me all of these old articles that he had written and had been published, like just bragging on himself, like that he's a writer, and like telling me all this stuff. And these magazines were from the 80s. Like, and he was like telling me how smart he was and talking about all this writing and everything. I mean, so it was like quirky. It was like super weird. It was just very quirky. Like he wanted to talk about all that stuff for a long time. But then finally we were talking about the apartment, doing all that type of stuff. We talk about like maybe pricing and stuff like that. Well, we just decided, okay, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go, design this, and I'll get back to you in a couple weeks. Well, some things came up and I didn't get back to him in the like 2 weeks that we had said. And I think it had been like 3 weeks or something. And he sent me some Facebook messages and like asking like, hey, like, just checking in on this like type stuff. But then another couple days goes by and he sends me some pornography on Facebook Messenger, like just straight up just sends like these porn images, like GIFs. And I was like, I like opened my phone and they're like just naked woman video. And I'm like, what the heck? And he gives no context.
Just sends it.
And so like I write him back and I'm like, hey, sorry, like that that it's been an extra week, whatever things came up. But also I'm, what you just sent me is like highly inappropriate. And
if this is not spam, like,
right,
kind of
like,
thing.
and it basically, and then I said, I need you to explain. I need to understand like why you just sent me pornography. And he responded and didn't mention the porn at all. Like he just said like, he started talking about how, well, basically getting into like how I needed to be licensed. I needed to be like, provide, some sort of insurance and all this stuff. And if I'm going to like work on the apartment, and I was like, you're telling me that I need to like get like a license and insurance to like tell you some furniture and stuff to buy. Like that is definitely not the case. And I said, and also you still have not addressed why you sent me pornography. And then he never responded.
It was weird.
Yeah.
These two questions kind of go together. Do you have any moments of self-doubt? If yes, how do you deal with it? And I was wondering if you ever have doubt in pursuing a creative living. I've heard a lot of horror stories of people hating photography, video, etc., because they chose it as their profession. So,
sorry, I was reading a different comment while you read that and I didn't hear it.
These two, Adam and Jack.
Do you have any moments of self-doubt?
And then like doubts in pursuing creative because people end up like hating it.
Yeah.
I struggle with self-doubt like on a daily basis. So that's just like a regular thing for me.
Yeah. I don't really have like a lot of self-doubt moments because I'm so confident that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I feel very confident in like how much I love creativity, how much I love making videos, how much I love taking photos, and all that type of stuff. Like I'm very confident in that. And also, like from my Christian perspective, I feel that I am doing exactly what God has called me to do. And I feel like, God has laid this path out for me, in what we're doing. Like I feel a peace like about it. Like if we're going to use like Christian language or whatever, like I feel like a peace about what I'm doing and what I'm pursuing. And so even though we are not making it yet, I feel very confident in pursuing what I'm pursuing because I feel like I'm operating in the talents and giftings and abilities in God's will.
Yeah. You've been like creating since you were 12 or whatever. So it's just like second nature.
Yeah.
Sarah, you seem more analog. Cody, you seem more digital. What is something you each do daily in your preferred medium? Could you ever switch for a day?
One, yes, that is very true. And another tattoo that we have talked about getting is a couple tattoo, where we each get a color wheel, and Sarah gets the RGB, the CMYK color wheel, which is the color of print. So like in print design, you use the CMYK color spectrum, and everything digital uses the RGB color spectrum. So we'd each get a color wheel. Hers would be CMYK, mine would be RGB.
Very nerdy.
Yeah.
But what is something you each do daily in your preferred medium, and could you ever switch?
She writes in a notebook every single day, by hand, writes in a journal.
Yes.
I can't I don't journal every day, but whenever I do try to, I do it digitally because I have such a hard time doing it on paper.
I also keep an analog calendar.
Yeah.
And I can't do it digital. I've tried, but when I write it down in my phone, I don't remember. I remember things when I write them physically. So it's impossible for me.
Yeah. Stephen, thank you so much for the $30 super chat. Would you ever do a tour of NYC with subscribers, or is that just a family and friends thing? I wouldn't be opposed to it. It's a little, it's an interesting thing because I'm obviously I'm for people. It's just whenever you're talking like people on the internet and stuff like that, like you get a lot of people like who, DM you or whatever, and are like, hey, we should totally meet up for coffee and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I'm sure a lot of those people are really amazing, genuine people, kind. But it's like figuring out how. Yeah.
Like what's that process or balance or whatever.
But I would say absolutely. When we have done that in the past. So there some new friends, Hannah Grote, contacted us and said that she was a photographer and offered to like take our photos for free.
We hung out with them that whole day.
And we hung out with them like, a large portion of that day, but she like brought value, I guess, to it. Not that, a relationship in itself isn't valuable, but like she brought value to the table immediately and said like, hey, I'll take these photos for you. And then she like linked to her, portfolio and Instagram. And I saw that she is a really good photographer. And then like, so that gave us like a starting point, or whatever, but not that any, you or anybody else has to be like, hey, I'll do this for you.
Right. But no, it's just like a weird internet friends is like, I've never had to navigate it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not opposed to anything really.
Yeah.
Just kind of, Yeah.
I'm sure, Stephen, you are an amazing guy.
Positive.
I've seen you around the comment section quite a bit, so I'm sure you're a solid dude. It's the more so speaking to like just the random like
just the general process. Like it's just a weird.
Yeah.
How do you navigate it?
So I was planning on this live stream being like 20 to 30 minutes. But it has now been an hour and 6 minutes. So I think we're going to have to end it at some point.
Yeah.
But thank you, everybody, for joining us on this. And thank you to everybody who gave in the super chat. Steven and Todd and Walter. And I think that was it. And Adam. Sorry, Adam.
The gold.
Yeah.
Remember?
I've got some Polish gold now. So thank you guys so much for contributing to what we're doing. We really appreciate you guys watching. We appreciate you guys feeling that what we do is valuable enough to actually contribute financially. And that really does mean a lot that you would give something of yourself to support, people that you don't know, that you're just watching on the internet. So
it's very kind. Also, this live streaming was not as bad as I thought it'd be.
Yeah.
I don't do live video because it terrifies me, because if I say something, I can't edit it.
Yes.
So this was fun.
Also, Mandy says, see you guys in September for our photo shoot. So Mandy, they're coming to New York and hired me to take photos of them. So that is a surefire way to hang out with us, is if you want to hire us to take photos or something like that. Also, I wasn't planning on plugging this, but I recently started coaching sessions, and I've actually done I have sessions with 2 different people right now. If you want to have conversations like this, with one-on-one, Google Hangout type thing, for whatever you need, tech, life, we can do it together, marriage, whatever you guys want to talk about. I also can do it in person if you are in New York City. You can check that out on my website, codyjensen.com. But yeah. So thank you guys so much for joining us in our first live stream. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We had around the same number of people here the whole time. So it seems like, unless they were, rotating, seems like everybody kind of stuck around. So thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you in a video on Monday.
Bye.
So, bye, guys.